My teacher asked me to write a journal entry explaining the type of technology we use and how we learn today to someone from the year 2010. Well, my day starts off by me walking into the classroom, and I have to pause under the entryway. I must wait until I hear a familiar beep. This beep tells me that the sensors built into the doorway have read my brainwaves and I have officially been counted present. I will have to pause again at the end of the day to verify that I have attended for the 4 required hours. They no longer do the pupil recognition like they did when my father attended school here, since they realized this was causing major damage to people's eyes after doing this for several years. I only attend the Learning Center for 4 hours because I can take the rest of my classes online. The government is afraid we will not have social skills if we never interact with others our own age. We can choose what time we want to come to the Learning Center, but we just have to stay the minimum of 4 hours. Many of the younger children stay longer while their parents are at work. Parents are also welcome at the Learning Center to attend classes or use the technology. I do enjoy most of our activities at the Learning Center, but one of my favorites is the simulators. We have 6 holographic environmental simulators. Within these simulators, we can experience historical times. Last week, we were all in the Netherlands to experience the 17th century. It was really cool. We also use the holographic environment to work out personal problems. We often do this for our social skills class too. Or we can just have fun. The holographic environment simulators do such a good job of simulating reality that we often have difficulties distinguishing them, real characters, from the virtual ones. Some of our teachers, mostly the older ones, are sometimes reluctant to use the holographic environment. However, they think that we should learn by reading from our iPads, like my mother used to do. Our class is also involved in one of the most famous worldwide educational online role-playing games. It is widely popular all over the world. As my grandmother told me, in the past, people would play World of Warcraft at home. My grandmother told me that they already had different clans in those old games. We also have clans in this game since our class is one clan together with a school in China. Since we work with them almost every day, we learned each other's languages. We started as early as 4 years old. But as the brain chips that are out there still have many problems when dealing with worlds that have several meanings. As a group, we work together to get higher levels, creating strategies to collaborate in the defeat of the monsters. We assign roles to everyone: who will heal people, who will make the clothes, and who will gather all the resources, for example, and make sure that everything goes well economically within our clan. I think our clan is the best of the whole school. Our game is in 3D, of course, in contrast to all the simple games from back in the day. And of course, we can also feel and smell within the game right now too, in contrast to the past. I love this game, and it also is great that the government subsidizes it. Our teacher is also a part of our clan. She sometimes gives us smart advice on how to do things better, but she never actually tells us what to do. Speaking of teachers, some of them are not even human. When we arrive to some of our classes, a humanistic robot greets us and gives us our assignments for the day. It is able to answer most of our questions. If there is still something we are having trouble with, well, we can contact a teacher who is centrally located in the Learning Center through our phones or on the computer. Many times she will appear as a hologram in the room to explain the answer. We no longer have to carry those laptop computers around with us or an iPad. We can use the hologram computers on our watches or the tabletop computers in the rooms. All of the computers are touchscreen. No more of that mouse and keyboard crap. The tabletop computers instantly connect to any of our accessories. When you lay your phone or camera on the table, your pictures virtually fall out and they are laying right beside the device. You can then choose the ones you are wanting to look at and move them around on the table. It is also very easy for us to access our own files. through a small device that looks like what you called, I think, a flash drive. When you lay the device on the table, a small image appears on the table, giving you access to your own files. If you do happen to have something written on a piece of paper, just lay it down on the table and it'll create an image of the paper's contents in your computer. As I do enjoy visiting other countries in time periods, using the simulators, and completing group work at the learning centers with others at my age, I also really enjoy my online classes. My classes and at the learning center are not just with others my age though. There may be a few years older or younger. We are able to choose our classes depending on our abilities and our interests. They only choose our classes for us during our first few years of school. I have heard stories about how at one time students all had to stay in one room with only students their own age and they all had to learn the same thing. Oh, how boring. I love hanging out with my friends, but we all have different interests and I couldn't imagine having to learn something just because the others were interested in that. I think that would be very boring. There are a few children at the Learning Center who do require an extra learning tool to interact with the rest of us. These children wear a helmet on their head for most of the day. Someone told me that the kids with the helmets on their heads were different, but I don't see why. They just communicate in a different way, like someone who speaks another language. Some of these students have something wrong with them. I think it's called autism. I'm not sure. They just take a few minutes longer than the rest of us, and then a computer talks for them. Other kids have a hard time writing things down on paper, so as they think, the helmet will send the thoughts to the computer where it can later read their thoughts and make corrections. I think that's really cool. Now, I think that's most of my day, and I've completed the assignment by talking into my watch, so I can now reread what I have written on my hologram computer. So after I make a few corrections, if you were in my time period, I could send you a hologram of myself explaining my learning experience to you. It seems boring to say that I would send it to you just over an email, where all you could do is read it. Maybe once they have fully invented time travel, I'll come back and explain this to you in person. Well, thanks. Bye.